Okay, today we're going to be doing some equations that are a little bit more difficult to balance, and we're not going to do them any different. We're going to use the same kind of rules that we used before. We're going to start with what is easy and then fix that first, and then hopefully some of the harder things will actually kind of work their way through, but I'm going to show you some kind of tricks and tips to get through some of this stuff also. So let's just start with the first one, and we're going to list exactly what we have right underneath the arrow, which will be C. We also have an H, and we have an O. Alright, on the left-hand side, which is the reactant side, we have two H's, or two C's, 6 H's, and we have 3 O's. On the product side, we have 1 C, 2 H's, and 3 O's. Alright, I have two things to fix, carbon and hydrogen, and actually at this point it doesn't matter which one I fix first. I'm going to go with carbon just because it's the first one that's messed up. And I have 2 on the left, so I need 2 on the right, so I have to put a coefficient of 2 in front. That changes my carbon to 2. Also changes my oxygen to 5. And I have my oxygen fixed, now it's not. Alright, 3 to 5 is kind of difficult to do, so we're going to skip oxygen and we're going to go ahead and finish and do hydrogen first. I have 6 on the left and I have 2 on the right, so a coefficient of 3 would change that to 6. And now that would change my oxygen to 4 plus 3 is 7. Now we're kind of to this point where we kind of got an odd number, don't know what to do with it. And so what we're going to do is this. We got to look at the whole picture. And if we look at the whole picture, we see that we have oxygen in 2 places, here and here. Now there's actually 2 ways of doing this. We can actually get rid of the odd by putting a 2 in front of the C2H5OH and making that an even number, but then we still have an odd on the other side, which is going to be kind of confusing. Or probably the easiest way to do it is really look at the whole picture. If we need 7, we have 1 right there. If we take that 1 off of 7, we need 6 more. And so then the question is, can we get a 6 out of that? And we can by putting a 3 right there. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. And that's a balanced equation. All right, let's try the second one. The second one, we have a lot of elements. We have a whole lot of elements to actually count, but we have H, we have C, we have O, we have CE, and then what I'm going to do is something we learned the other day, is I'm going to count my SO4 as an entire group, and I think that will make it go a little bit faster and quicker for you. So on the left-hand side, we have 2 H's, we have 2 C's, all right, we have 4 O's, not counting the O's that are attached to the sulfur. And we're going to count those separate, so we're not counting those at this time. We have 1 Ce, and then we have 2 of the SO4s. On the product side, we have 2 H's, we have 1 carbon, we have 2 oxygens. Now there are oxygens also right here and right there, but we're not counting those because we're going to count those as part of the SO4s. All right, CEs we have 2, and SO4s we have 1 right there, 1 in the middle, and we have 3 on the ends. That's a total of 4. All right, step back and look at what we have to fix. Hydrogen looks good, carbon needs help, oxygen needs help, everything else needs help except for hydrogen. And again, it doesn't matter which one we start with, but I'm going to start with carbon just because it's the first one. So I have 2 carbons on the left, I need 2 on the right, so I have to put a 2 right there. That changes carbon to 2, and changes my oxygen to 4. So I actually fixed 2 things at one time. All right, my next one I'm going to fix is probably cerium, just because it's the next one up. I have 2 ceriums on the right. I only have 1 left, so I have to put a 2 right there. That changes cerium to 2, and actually changes my SO4 to 4. And that one wasn't even a very hard one to fix. It just looked complicated because of the fact that there was a lot of things. And it also helped by the fact that we count the SO4 as a group. The next one, we have Mn, we have O, we have K, and we have H. All right, on the left-hand side, we have 1 Mn. We have a total of 2, 3, 5 oxygens. All right, we have 1 K and we have 1 H. On the product side, we have 1 Mn we have 4, plus another one over there is 5 oxygens. And then we have 2 Ks, and we have 2 Hs. All right, I have 2 things to fix, K and H. Doesn't matter which one I do first. I'm going to go ahead and go with K. I have 2 on the right. I have to put a coefficient of 2 right here. Get 2 of those. That also changes my H to 2. And it'd be really nice to be finished right now, but we just changed our oxygen right there. Because of that 2, we changed it to 6. All right? So now we have everything fixed except for oxygen. And we're at that point again where, hey, we've got everything fixed. There's nothing easy to fix, and we have an odd number. And if you remember, about 90% of the time, if you have an odd number, it causes you trouble. So we've got to get rid of the odd. Now we have an oxygen right there, and we have an oxygen right there. And the one on the far right is my odd one. The 4 is even. The 5th one over there is odd. So we're going to put a 2 there for no other reason than to get rid of the odd. So we're going to put a 2 right there, which actually gives me 4 plus 2 is 6 oxygen. I actually fixed that, but it did change my hydrogen to 4. So now we're back over on the other side again, and we originally put a 2 over here in front of the KOH because we needed 2. Well, we're going to have to erase now. So that has to be erased, and now we have to put a 4. Well, that changes my H to 4, my K to 4, and now gives me 2 plus 4 plus 2 more is 8 oxygens. All right. Well, if I go to the other side, I only really have one thing I have to fix, not counting oxygen, and that's potassium. I want to try to fix that first, see if that helps me. So let's see, I have 2 potassium here. I put a 2 right there. That changes that into 4, changes my Mn to 2, and changes my oxygen to 8, plus another 2 is 10. Alright, now I still have to fix oxygen, still have to fix manganese, but I'm thinking right now that manganese might be the one I ought to mess with because, you know, the oxygen is the problem most of the time. So if I need 2 manganese, I'm going to put a 2 right there. That changes manganese to 2, and that gives me 4, plus another 4, plus another 2 is 10 oxygen. We're done. Now, that one did take a little bit of time, but it was not that bad. You just had to persevere.